Hello, everybody. Welcome back to OCD Hi-Fi Guy. Now, look at this thing here. This is a Rune Bridge, otherwise known as a Rune streamer, a endpoint, a renderer, whatever you want to call it. The main distinction between this piece and a server or a computer really is what these things are. Wish people would just get that straight. Is that this one is dependent on you have another computer, say a NAS drive or your desktop that is active in the system, and you keep that puppy on, say over at your desk, and then this little guy sits at the back of the rig. You just set it over there, put it behind something. You got your little SPDIF input, or output rather, whether it's BNC or RCA, and then this feeds to your DAC. Okay. Now there is also another version of this that is USB output. For anybody. This was, in case you have some legacy gear or you just want to, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hook this up to an old Wadia I've got sitting in my bedroom, an X32. How cool will that be? I want to see how it compares to these new fangled schmangled, expensive DACs, and see, just for the sake of it, because, we're going back to that R2R thing. So that's from the past. I wonder how the Wadia is. Anyways, I'm getting a little away from the subject here. But okay, so this thing can be had for $100 and I believe it's $89. It also comes with a power supply. It's like the little wall wart type. And you get it from allo.com. So if you go to www.allo.com, then you're going to find a really cool website in India. Well, I mean, the website's wherever it is, virtual world, but the company is in India, and they make these really cool little, I don't know, well, let's see if we can get over the light, really cool little boards, okay? They're like ARM boards. You've probably heard of Raspberry Pi and that kind of stuff. Okay, so these guys are like the audiophile Raspberry Pi guys. It's called a Digi1, and there's also, I don't know if I mentioned it, but there's also one with the USB out. For USB DACs and for higher res formats and everything like that. But there's a whole bunch of other boards, man. I mean, you can get little boards that if you get the main computer board, okay, that's called the, what's it called? Well, you'll see it, Sparky, I think it's called. And if you get that Sparky thing, it has the ability to, on top of it, you can stack a whole bunch of other cards. Okay, so they've got a reclocker card. I think that's called Kali. They've got a battery power supply, so you run your stuff on batteries. They've got an isolator, digital isolator. So you have this little stack. I thought I brought one in here. A little stack of it's like a little computer stack. It's a little stack of cards, and it's basically a little teeny computer. It's a little teeny hi-fi rig. They actually have DACs that fit right on it too, so you can have everything in a little stack. Now, of course, that would be fun. Maybe we should bring one of those little stacks in here, all loaded up with the reclocker and everything, and compare it to some of these big DACs. Now, the big DACs are gonna floor those little guys. But you know what? It's surprising how close they can come. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, how close are they? Give them a couple more years. Are they going to be able to do it? I'm not sure. Anyway, so this is a real big value. Okay, so for $189, including everything, you put this at the back of your rig, you now have Rune, okay? You have Rune at your tablet or at your cell phone, and you can stream from the internet and from your desktop, whatever computer you have on the network that's holding music, you can play all the files using that little thing right there. And it's what they call a renderer. You've heard of maybe the micro render or those things, and where it's isolated because it renders the file back at the rig, right in this little item here. So it doesn't matter that it goes across the network or whatever, because it's going to reassemble it back and behind your rig anyways. So this is a really inexpensive way and great way, actually. I don't see much difference, and maybe I've got an SOTM. Let's see if we can see it. Okay, so well, it's in the closet, but nonetheless, I've got something that's like I think it's like $700 or $800 that does the same thing. Maybe we could play them side by side, and let's see, does the $189 piece, is it as good as this $700 piece? I know that micro rendus were $600 and change when they came out. This thing is everything that a micro rendu is. I know that now those guys, Sonor, have a different reference level or something that's better than the micro Rendu, but this thing certainly is as good as a micro Rendu was. And of course, you can get a linear power supply to swap out for the little wall wart that it comes with. That makes a nice difference. So, you know, I'm going to come back on from time to time and tell you what I've learned from really just spending tons of time figuring out this server / computer, you know, the whole deal, you know, because all of a sudden we've got a whole bunch of new guys in our industry that are computer guys. You know, you can tell. I talked to them for a couple seconds, and it's really easy to find out they're not audiophiles. You know, they don't talk the lingo. You ask them about their rig, and it's easy to find out. So there's computer guys all of a sudden showing up on the scene, and you know, computers being sold for $7,000, $8,000, and I'm kind of scratching my head, going, okay, let me see if I can figure out. Let me go build one. Let me go to Newegg and just throw something together. You know, what I think there is being done, and compare. And you know what? I have not found a big distinction. I've had $7,000 media, you know, music servers and everything, and I've compared them to builds that I've done myself. If you look over here, here's a prime example. Okay, this is my most current build. Okay, and this is just a chassis that I bought. It's a generic chassis. It's cool though, man. Nobody makes a cool chassis like that. Only one company does. And if we go around, let's see, we go around back, you can see that it's just a computer motherboard, okay? I built a computer. Okay, that is a mini ITX motherboard. So that's what this case holds, a mini ITX. See the blue LED in there because I found a killer USB output card. Okay, so this thing, it's the same thing they pitch left and right. A reclocker, a decrapifier, a cleaner, whatever the hell they call it. They call it 18 different things, but really, it's an audio card, okay? And so sometimes it's in the unit like this. Sometimes it's out of the unit. See that SOTM right there? That is one that sits outboard. And then that thing's, this one is, what is it, $189 or something like that. And then this one is, $600 or something. And they do the same thing, okay? So I guess, I'll have to take more time and figure out if one does it better than the other. But the bottom line is, okay, there's a point here where people are paying too much for what is normal computer equipment, okay? They are optimized, granted, okay? You open mine up, it's fanless, okay? It uses an i5. I found the i5 sound better than the i7 a little. Still, jury is out, okay? I was told can't use an i5, it's going to be too noisy. i3 has to be the one. I've used both i3 and i5. They both sound fine as long as there's certain models of those chips, of the CPUs that you pick that are designed to be more efficient, so they don't cook like some of the other ones do that are hot rodded out. Anyways, so this is going to start a couple things. You'll see a couple videos follow this up that will be more about the servers, how to build a server. I'll tell you how to build your own audiophile quality server, and how to make this renderer. This renderer is absolutely the least expensive way for you to join the kind of tablet or cell phone controlled audio rig, whereby at your fingertips you've got the whole internet to bring you more music than you could ever listen to, and the quality is surprisingly good. So so that's it. So you can check out Allo, check out their cool little products there, and you'll find some interesting stuff. And then I will follow up with some more on the servers and the reclockers and kind of all that stuff. The other another interesting thing that we have here, and actually I'll make this another video, but is one of these things. Okay, I've got one here, and then there's one there as well. These are both USB to I2S converters. They also convert to SPDIF and that kind of stuff, AES, but they convert your USB to I2S is the one that really has me interested. I want to find out about this I2S. We know that that's the protocol for the on the motherboard. This is how the chips send music data to one another, is via I2S. It's designed to be inside the board, or inside on the motherboard, but people are taking it outside, and there has been no really good implementation that I've seen so far. I guess PS Audio does it, but I do not own their products. So and I've not had them through here, so I can't say anything about their implementation. Rachna definitely implements it, and so does Denafrips on their Terminator. They all have, both of those have I2S inputs. So I want to figure out how to exploit the I2S and see if it's just, one of those buzzwords and they put it there and it's a marketing thing, or, does it really sound better? Seems like it would. Man, I'm getting way off the subject. So I'll come back with something about I2S. We can talk about I2S. That's another conversation. For now, this was to be about the Rune for $189 to have yourself a Rune streamer, and you can have title on there and everything, only $189. It's easy to set up. And that's a simple way for you to get into this without having to swallow the whole pill and go hog wild and get the big server and spend a bunch of dough and rip all your CDs and all that crazy stuff. I mean, sooner or later, you're going to have to rip your CDs if you want to hear those particular albums. But most of them are already online in online databases anyways. So you take your choice. One way, you own the content, you have it on a hard drive, and you can have it in like WAV, which is completely uncompressed. It's the same as a CD. Even FLAC is compressed. Some people don't know that. FLAC is a compression, albeit a small compression, but it is a compression. So I've listened side by side. I do think I can hear a difference between FLAC and WAV. People will say no way. Maybe it's a bias. I have no idea. But either way, it's no compression. So I'm going to get going because I'm getting off on too many tangents. So anyways, thanks for joining, and we'll see you later. Bye.